Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to this week's episode of Tuesday Preppers, where we take a look at the in-game news and kind of get ready for some of that by talking a little bit about like existing units and equipment and materia and things like that you can go after in the game right now that are going to help you get ready for that. This week, we're going to do a little bit of a different episode. We've done something like this before. It's always been centered around Clash of Wills, which is the main thing we have going on this week. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of do that again. On stream tonight, we talked through Clash of Wills and we put together some ideas of units that you might be able to use to put together a nice team, depending on what units you have available and like what EX levels you have, just to try and like piece together, who's going to be potentially good at this fight based on what we have in the game right now. Obviously, the new unit is almost always going to be really, really good for the fight, but some people don't always have the resources to pull for a brand new unit, and so they want to think out loud about like what units that they already have that could potentially be useful. We're going to do that tonight. We are also going to talk a little bit about the upcoming Clash of Wills event and the upcoming unit and the other stuff they have going on in the game right now, or starting on Thursday as well, which is the main thing other than Clash of Wills is that the story is being updated. We get season 4 chapter 6 part 2, so we're getting more about the story and characters, and the thing that most people are really excited about when it comes to the story updates is Lapis. Unfortunately, no unit upgrades, no new equipment, no gear, not from this report anyways, but there's always Lapis, and so we're excited about that because we have a new unit coming out, Dark Knight Dwayne. If you've been taking part of the beige carpet party or after party reviews, a little bit about Dwayne just from we learned from the live stream. Now we know that Dwayne is coming with a vision card step up with a nice vision card at the end. We'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. Normal vision card step ups, and then go for, if you're going for pity, you go a couple more laps at the end. Some nice things in the exchange. I believe that is lucid lenses, and if that is lucid lenses, that's a pretty nice item you can exchange for. But you can also get those with like unit of choice tickets from 5-star units. So I wouldn't go too crazy about it. But Dwayne's fragments are in the shop as well, which is where a lot of people are probably going to be dropping those coins. So that's very cool. Here is Dwayne, Dark Knight Dwayne. He's an SLB damage dealer. Basically only has the attacker tag. His SLB does not do damage. It boosts the modifier of one of his attack skills and recharges one of his attack skills, which is kind of cool. His STMR is a one-handed sword. And then he's got a helmet that gives some bonus stats to him. Weapons, woo. I like that we're getting other pieces of equipment, but I wish this would have been a nice STMR, and maybe switch these up a little bit. Give us a nice reason to wear something other than the Clash of Wills helmet, please. He's got a leader skill for Clash of Wills category units, 300% to all the important stats, which is kind of nice. He's got a nice ability. We talked about this on the live stream, but he basically overcaps the stat buffs and the LB damage buffs, Clash of Wills only. Very cool. He's also got passive morale fill every turn as an EX ability. This is probably EX2, I'm guessing, maybe EX3. I hope it's not EX3. But then he's got 2 Magnus abilities. One of them can be recharged. One of them is likely a big amp. Very, very cool. And this is a tag team attack. This is nice. I mean, I'm curious to know like what the frames are on it, or if it's just like the same tag team attack as, like Roberta and Ignitos have. Either way. AoE tag team chaining is potentially useful. Very, very cool. Ticket exchanges and whatnot as well. Before we dive into the Clash of Wills stuff, let's take a quick look at the vision cards. Here's Dwayne's vision card. Caps out at 130 attack, gives you HP and attack 50%, LB damage 50%, 100% true dual wield, and then attack 500 for FFBE units. As far as cards go, that's pretty standard for like normal cards, normal unit cards, non-premiums. It's a little better than the average. 130 attack is we're getting up there. Cards are kind of creeping up, but the next card is pretty cool. The Star Rending Claws. This is Vilk, HP 1,500 with 135 attack, a little bit higher than Dwayne's, but has an additional 100% HP in attack and HP in attack 500. So there's a lot of attack and HP on this card. Pretty cool. Also gives you 300% total killer to beast, dragon, and stone monsters. Each of those get 100% physical killer. And then one use every 3 turns. You can use Star Piercer if you're an FFBE unit. Unfortunately, they do not tell us what the chain frames are or what the modifier is, but if this is anything like the Hyo Vision card, this could potentially be a very nice, usable ability. I really like vision cards that have unique, useful stuff on it, and anything that's going to give us chain frames is always a friendly, welcome thing for me to pick up on. So, like for me, I am currently planning on pulling for Dwayne. I want to see the numbers. I want to see like how it goes. If he's a total dud, probably, I don't want to regret it. But just from what we know about him from the live stream with the previewed information, now that we know there's a vision card, I'm pretty much like, I would like to go ahead and pull for this unit, and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah, pretty cool. That said, the main thing that we have going on that we spent all night talking about on stream tonight is Clash of Wills. So we've got Clash of Wills coming, the Moon of Unknown Origin Mimicress. It's a beasts and stone enemy that is naturally weak to fire, lightning, and dark. We knew that from the monthly preview. We knew that from the live stream. So we're like, pretty aware. And some of these things have already been kind of talked to death. But they did give us some new information in the news today that tells us a little bit more about what we can kind of get ready for. It's a crafty mimic that has taken the form of a giant crescent moon. So it is not necessarily a moon, but something that is pretending to be a moon, which is kind of neat. And then we know that the bonus morale action is boosting your resistance to stat breaks, so attack, defense, magic, and spirit. Doesn't have to be all of them, but you get one boost of morale per status effect per unit per turn. So if you've got somebody who can do all stat resistances every turn, that's going to be an easy way to generate morale. We're going to talk about some ways you can do that a little bit later. They're doing a Fortuna Pass as usual. They're giving us new Obnixus drops. They're giving us new recipes for the rings. So you can upgrade your rings further to either Magisters, Rulers, or some of these other ones. I want to pay close attention to the Position Celestite ring. It does boost resistances to stat breaks. It's got an ability on it you can spam to boost resistances to breaks, which is going to give you morale. So there's a nice way to pick that up. But there's the Explorers and Nomads also has some killers on it, as well as bonus stats. They could be potentially useful. Most players, I think, are probably going to get the most benefit out of either Magisters or Emperors at this point in the game. But you might want to change it up. They're also giving us some free units from the Obnixus drops. Kaito, Lulu, Vaughn, Kresnik, Napi, and King Bahimi. All of them have something to bring to the party, I would say, except for Napi. So Kaito is a very good breaker for Clash of Wills, and outside of Clash of Wills has some unique abilities. Lulu, is the kind of default go-to really big water imperil unit. Vaughn is the really big fire imperil unit, potentially useful for this month's Clash of Wills. Kresnik does a little bit of everything in terms of support. Very good morale generation and really nice utility. King Bahimi has some really nice utility too in his shift form as well as his base form, including a skill that does buff stat breaks immunity, so potentially useful there. And he's just good reasonably good in Clash of Wills anyway, because he fills morale every turn, has a lot of things he can do. So there are some nice units there. Of those, I have every one of them, not all of them EX3, except for Lulu. So Lulu is probably going to be the unit that I pick out of all those. If I have some fragments left over. I mean, we always do. But Lulu is going to be currently the one that I'm going for because I have all those other units at EX1 or better. But they also gave us some news about new abilities. Wing clipping is 4 different killers: beasts, dragons, insects, and bird monsters at 50%. Kind of nice. 4 killers at 50% is better than 1 killer. It's a flexible item, especially if a boss lines up with two of these races, which is pretty cool. And then perfect provocation. It's a materia that gives you a 100% chance of drawing attacks. So we have sources of 100% draw attacks in the Dancer's Diadem, but if you don't want to wear the Dancer's Diadem, for example, you could change it to like a Paladin's Diadem, and then give a unit perfect provocation, and then they'll have 100% draw plus the good bonus stats of the Paladin's crown. So I'm definitely picking up both. If there's 2 of them, I'm definitely picking up both of these abilities twice, and then using whatever I have left on Lulu. I would like to have Lulu. I don't want to use Lulu, but I don't have not having her means I don't have her TMR or STMR. And so I want to definitely pick her up from here if I don't manage to get one like during the Dwayne pulls, for example. But yeah, wing clipping, perfect provocation, pretty cool. And there you go. So we're going to dive into now a little bit different, talking about like the different types of things that you can bring to this fight that might be able to help you out. And we did this together on stream. Everybody who was taking part in the stream kind of shared some insight and opinion about this. So this list comes from people who were live during the stream tonight. And we talked about, what units could be useful for each category. So for example, we know that the boss is part beast. And so we thought out loud about units that might be able to buff your party's damage against beasts, give you mitigation against beasts, things like that. Kind of came up with some old options. So White Dragon Ling does Beast Killer. Flaring Ether Rain has some nice damage against beasts. Curse of Immunity Melissa is like, kind of like the current big go-to Beast Killer unit, or a Curse of Immunity Melissa, sorry. So she's got a 250 single target buff. A2 Neo Visions is good against beasts. Beach Blaster Olive has a 200 self buff. Lunar Festival Cleome has a 160 party buff, and is just naturally good at it. Samurai Chizuru has a 250 self and 150 party buff for beast. Axstar the Return has some Beast Killer in his Limit Burst and Super Limit Burst. Fina Dark Lineage has Beast Killer. Lara Croft has single target, or not single target, self only Beast Killer. Rain and Fina, Neo Visions Rain. All these units have some form of Beast Killer. So if you're trying to pick a unit that can maybe do some Beast Killer for you, there's a good example of a handful that might be able to work that out for you. So we also talked about stones. How could you talk about stone without talking about Paladin Sylvie? Samurai Chizuru notably has Beast Killer and Stone Killer in her kit. Roberta has Stone Killer. Dynast King Scion Ash has a single target Stone Killer buff, as well as some party buffs. Stormseeker Esther has party buffs. Roka has party buffs. Madame Adele. Elegant Temptress Lilith, good in Clash of Wills, and also has Stone Killer naturally, and she can buff it one time. Super exciting. Ilmatal also has Stone Killer. And then technically, Cheerful Caroler Ayaka has a Stone Killer buff. You can use one time, but she notably does not have the right elemental damage to bring to the fight, but you could give her own vision card, which would be like totally random and weird, right? And then she could chain bolting strike with an imbuable move that she could use from her vision card. Not going to be like morale scaling, but it's better than nothing. And if you really want to take advantage of her buff, there it is. So between her and Lunar Festival Cleome, you've got single target buffs for Beast and Stone taken care of one time. That's really fun. But there you go. Stone Killer, Beast Killer taken care of. We also talked about elements. Now, elements is a little more of a big category, so we broke it down. The boss does counter if you don't deal fire or dark, so you want to definitely bring either fire or dark damage somewhere in the party, but it is weak to lightning as well. So we thought we'd talk about all of them. These are some examples of some supports that either going to help you do damage, imperil the boss, or just do damage themselves that's good for these elements. So for fire, we talked about Roberta and Ignitos, Shrine Maiden Tsukiko, Lunar Festival Cleome, Neovision's Rain, also Flaring Ether Rain, Master Machinist Abigail, Fina Dark Lineage, Marilith, technically Louise, does have a 90 break and a fire field, kind of cool. Submarine Runda, Kid, who is a time limited unit, but also does have good imperils and a field effect. Red Mage Ingus has the ability to imbue the party and do field effects and break the boss. White Dragon Ling does breaks and morale stuff, as well as Beast Killer and fire support, so potentially a decent unit there. Lots of options for fire. So for lightning, we talked about Paladin Sylvie and Stormseeker Esther. Reno, who's a free unit everybody should have EX3 of. Kind of nice for Clash of Wills to have free units that you can bring the EX3. Reno does have a 140 lightning imperil. Neovision's Edge has decent lightning support. Allbed Girl Riku technically has imbues and other stuff. Dragon Quest Dai and Dragon Quest Baran both have good lightning damage. Cloud Strife has some morale stuff as well as lightning damage himself. Determined Dagger, Sage of Thunder Sakura, Sakura Dark Lineage, Nilika, Savior of Souls Lightning. Lots of choices for lightning support. Savior of Souls Lightning also has a 90% break for Spirit, so potentially useful there. Some of those better than options than other, but I think most people are going to be picking either Fire or Dark. It's going to be the main elements because the boss is going to counter if you don't do Fire or Dark damage. So for Dark, we talked about Blade of Vengeance Ibarra, Curse of Immunity Melissa, Deoxys, Lynx, another Chrono Cross unit on the list, Dark Fiend, Warrior's Prayer, Golbez for the nice fire or Dark Imperil, as well as just being able to cast Meteor. Submarine Runda again has Dark support. Axstar the Return, Neovision's Gilgamesh, Kryla has fire or some nice dark amplifications and the ability to imbue people. Seymour is a dark base tank. Lilith is a dark base damage dealer. She can imbue the party as well as buff Stone Killer. So there you go. Renoa and Vlad have dark fields for imperils, which is kind of nice. Have has some dark support as well. So lots of options there. And worth noting too that Vlad is getting a leader skill. It's not that big of a leader skill, but he's getting one. So, if dark is a way you want to go, and that could potentially help you out. So there you have it. So those are various units that you could throw together that are going to potentially be able to handle all your elements and your races for Stone Killer and for Beast Killer. So before we go too much further, I want to talk a little bit about that bonus action. So the bonus action is that you get a morale bonus every time you buff your units immunity to breaks. And so we thought out loud about ways you can do that. Paladin Sylvie has a ability that you can use to buff break immunity, as does Divine Beast Chow, as does Determined Dagger. Master Machinist Abigail, Curse of Immunity Melissa, Samurai Chizuru has a it's on a cooldown, but she's got it, as does Kresnik. Whimsical Winter Tiana has it on a cooldown, or no, on a spammable ability, and she's got technically fire-based morale damage. Folka has her various waters skills, and she's an NVA, so you could get her to EX3 and bring her for this. It's a thing you could do. Just to do that. And then King Bahimi also does as well, spammable break immunity. So lots of ways you can get this on your party. You could also wear the new Physician's Ring, like I mentioned, and then a time limited item that exists is Paws of Prosperity that has break immunity on it that you can spam every turn. It also fills LP gauge. So if you've got Paws of Prosperity, honestly, you could stick this on anybody that's an accessory, and then they could have some fun with it. So there you go. So that's going to kind of like cover a lot of ground as far as what you could do. We also went into the Clash of Wills, because you can go into Clash of Wills and kind of start messing around with teams and stuff like that. And we put together a sample team. I don't know, this is not a guarantee that this is definitely going to work, but we did put together kind of a sample team that kind of covered a lot of ground. And we've got a tank here with Esther. Sylvie doing some buffs, Stone Killer support. She's doing our break immunity every turn, or as many turns as she can, to try and fill the morale gauge with that. Roberta for fire support and Stone Killer buff on a kind of more regular basis, because Sylvie's is bigger, but single target bigger, but then also like smaller for everybody else. But Roberta can spam it. A breaker in Olive, and also she can buff herself for Beast Killer. Lunar Festival Cleome is here until we get Dwayne on the party, but she's there. She can do Beast Killer for the party as well as for herself. And then Ibarra, and just in addition to just being redonkulous, she does buff herself with Beast Killer every time she uses her base form Limit Burst. So between that, our main damage dealers, they've got options for Beast Killer, everybody except for Roberta. But depending on what Dwayne's got in his kit, we might not need to worry about that too much, because my current plan is to replace Cleome with Dwayne. I do enjoy Cleome. When you have to use her for her killer buffs, she gets a little clunky, especially because she can only cast her killer buff one time. I'm hoping that Dwayne's is different. I don't know for sure, but I'm really hoping. But we've got Stone Killer like locked down with this. But we've also just got, relatively good damage. We got chaining, we got fire support, we got killers, we got breaks, we got all the kind of things we hopefully want here, assuming Esther can tank it. Now, if Esther can't tank it, then I'll have to adjust. My other magic cover tank that I could bring at EX3 is Chow. If it needs to be a physical tank, I could bring Lilith. So we do have options, but generally speaking, magic cover with physical like Mirage and stuff like that seems to be really good. And yeah, so that's kind of my plan for right now. I don't know if that's how that's gonna change, depending on what units we pull. I'm currently one copy of Abigail away from EX3, so like if I manage to snag a copy of Abigail on either a free pull or during pulls for Dwayne, Esther's out, Abigail's in. Sorry, Sart. But she is ridiculous at what she does. So there you go. There you have it. And that's really it for right now. So we're not going to necessarily talk too much about, we're not going to do a trial tonight because it is kind of late. But I did wanted to go over the killers that you can get in game for Beast and Stone really quick. As far as Stone goes, you could go get Stone Killer Plus from Stroper Advanced or Stone Eater Sense from Archeo Avis Advanced. Both those are so old, they're very, very easy. You could do those very easily. Not a problem. Technically, Darksteel Heavy Armor and Destroyer, if you really want to do that. Demon Axe, now that we've got True Dual Wield capped up to 400%, one-handed weapons are kind of potentially able to make a comeback. That is an axe with a killer on it, so there you go. You could also pick up Weapon Specialist from Wild Rose Furion, Scanning Goggles from Eileen, Storm Bunny Jacket, Stone Killer from King G on a free unit. You can make all the ones you want from doing Stroper. Pretty cool. Zenata also has Graceful Footwork for Stone Killer, and I think it has some other killers on it as well, so not too bad. Not a ton in the game for Stone Killer, but it is there. But we also have tons of really good stone support from our various Clash of Wills units, so I'm not too worried about that. Beast is a little trickier, but there is still some Beast you can pick up in the game right now. Beast Killer Plus from Scorn of Aemon Intermediate version, very easy to pick up for Beast Killer Plus. Rafflesia has Beast Eater Sense, Cerberus has the Beast Killer Plus and recipes for it. You can make your own. You could grab STMRs from Irvin. Valued Memories is 100%, as is Vortex of the Past and Hatred from Neovision's A2. If you happen to have her, hopefully you've grabbed a couple of copies of her STMR. You can also just get Beast Killer from the Aurora Keys or Underworld Gabarata, and then make you can use those to make more Beast Killer Pluses by kind of farming them off of Cerberus. So lots of options there. A little bit less than Stone, but the good one, Beast Killer Plus, is really easy to grab. Rafflesia is probably one of the tougher ones, but it's there. You can probably do Rafflesia pretty easily with current units. At this point, all the 12 types of trials are beatable with what we have in the game very, very easily, so not too bad. And then Cerberus is a piece of cake, so nothing special there. Not going to do a clear tonight, like I said, because we did the deep dive into all the different units that you could potentially bring for Clash of Wills, and I hope that that's useful to you. I know that we had a lot of fun talking about it, and so I'm looking forward to seeing how this shakes out when we go after Mimicrys ourselves. I will be putting my team together for my turn one burst, just to try and knock it out as quickly as I can. And if that ends up working just like last month, I'll go ahead and post a clear of that. My goal is to do the story as well during the day if I can, on Thursday, so that I have the Lapis that I can use to pull for Dwayne potentially. And yeah, that's what we're gonna be mainly doing on Thursday, especially if the numbers end up looking good. If he ends up looking like a good damage dealer and a good party support, a good person to bring to the party, if the numbers look good, we'll pull for Dwayne. I would like the vision card regardless, especially if the modifier on the card is good for that attack ability. And then we'll see what we have left over. But yeah, looking forward to Thursday, kind of doing some polls and some playing around with Clash of Wills live on Twitch, which we do 9 p.m. Central Time. So hopefully you come out for that, and kind of keep posted on whether or not Dwayne's numbers look good. But I think we're probably pulling. We'll see. But that's it for right now. So hopefully you got something educational and informational out of this discussion, and got some ideas brewing for what your team might look like based on what units you have. And you can go after Mimicryst yourself. In the meantime, take care of each other, be good, and we'll see you Thursday night. All right, see ya.